So I know some people might know how Donald Trump had said that we're an occupied country. I guess he said it like on October 13th, but I had just heard it tonight at his rally, and that just hit me like that means we're under attack. Okay, we know that. But then I saw this. This was 11/11. For anybody that follows me, you know why I'm saying that. But November 11th, 2016, World Economic Forum. America's dominance is over. By 2030, we'll have a handful of global powers. So the biggest enemy is within, and that's because it's the private sector. Yeah, it is. So a little bit about what this says. So this is why the media, and what the media is showing is, well, they're scared, right? Because they've been serving the occupied people, whether they're domestic enemies. So this was the reason they had to try to make Trump seem like he's the insurrectionist, because these private institutions, and along with much of our government, because it's mostly lawyers, have been on board with all of this. This is the reason American Nurses Association blocked me, because they've been on board with this. It's all in here. Yeah, it is. Nation states are making a comeback. The largest ones are busily expanding their global reach, even as they shore up their territorial and digital borders. As the onslaught of reactionary politics around the world amply shows, there are no guarantees that these vast territorial dominions and their satellites will become more liberal or democratic. Instead, relentless climate change, migration, terrorism, inequality, and rapid technological changes are going to ratchet up anxiety. Nation states are clearly not the only forms of political and economic organization. Really? They are already ceding sovereignty to alternate configurations of governance, power, and influence. Oh, is that why American Nurses Association and the credentialing boards and your state board of nursing all got on board with a magnet, and that was all about shared governance? Yeah, that's exactly why you did it. The fourth industrial revolution is hastening this shift. As Anne Maria Slaughter, what a name, explains, nation states are the world of the chessboard of traditional geopolitics. But the web is the world of business, civic, and criminal networks that interplay and complicate the games statesmen play. Stateswomen must learn webcraft in order to mobilize and deploy non-governmental power, just as statecraft does with government power. Really. Vast metropolitan regions are increasingly rivaling nation states in political and economic clout. I'm jumping around this. It says here too, the deconcentration of power away from nation states is giving rise to parallel layers of governance. Really? Indeed, nation states themselves are busily establishing legal and physical enclaves to contract out core functions to private entities. That's why it's the enemy within. The healthcare system, that's why they didn't care when Northwestern put those cameras in, those blacklisted cameras that Trump blacklisted because he said they were a national security risk. They didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit, just like the nursing profession people at the top at American Nurses Association and the union and all of them were going after Trump for securing the border. I mean, it made no sense to me as a nurse, somebody who's a good nurse actually, that why any nurse would support open borders. But they were going after him, yeah, because they all been a part of this. So that's the reason Trump is saying he will enact the 1799 Aliens Act. I don't know what is wrong with you people in the private sector. I'm thinking maybe too much education made you stupid. But if you think you can just do this to America and there's no repercussions, no, all of you people need to be investigated. And no longer should have a seat at the table. I don't give a shit what AOC, Bernie says. All of you people need to be investigated. And the media every single day just shows that they serve the enemies to America. That all of you do. Unbelievable. So again, if people understand what I'm saying, this is the reason, like I've never understood, why do we have shared governance in nursing? What is the point to that? Well, it's for this. To conclave out how the new government will be instituted through the private institutions. That's why where I work, they treat people like slaves. Because they're all aligned with this shit. They're enemies to this country. We are an occupied country. So it's too bad they don't realize that America was founded by rebels. And that bloodline carries on, believe me. So we're not going to let you get away with what you're getting away with. So again, I'm going to read it. The deconcentration of power away from nation states is giving rise to parallel layers of governance. Indeed, nation states themselves are busy establishing legal and physical enclaves to contract out core functions to private entities. There are already more than 4,000 registered special economic zones, ranging from free trade and export processing zones to free ports and innovation parks spread out around the world. Nation states and parastates will come under pressure from decentralized networks of non-state actors and coalitions, many of them enabled by information communications technologies. Large multinational companies are already heavily involved in shaping national policy. Oh, you are? Okay. So are constellations of non-governmental organizations, unions, faith-based groups, and others working constructively with rather than against these digitally communication networks. Or I'm sorry, then against these digitally empowered networks, which will be one of the key tests for nation states. The spread of new technologies offers up new ways of imagining deliberative democracy, you sons of bitches, but also tearing it down. That's what it says, but also tearing it down. Such is the Janus face of the quantitative society. It offers extraordinary benefits and opportunities, but also risks ranging from the evisceration of low-skilled jobs to terrifying new forms of warfare, terrorism, and criminality. You people are criminals. The criminals talking about criminality. The potential for the world's most powerful nation states to be held hostage to nativist and protectionist interests are more obvious than ever. On the other hand, cities and civil society networks constitute powerful political and economic nodes of power and influence. The question is whether they will be any better at channeling collective action to address tomorrow's threats. So, I was asking AI if America becomes occupied, which we are, what's the first thing that would be done to protect? And it says to arm the civilian population. So the U.S. military could lead a decentralized resistance movement with civilians equipped with weapons, bombs, and ammo to defend their territory against the occupying forces. Well, let's hope it doesn't have to come to that, but all of these private institutions here all need to be investigated. They don't know how to treat Americans right, and they are Americans. In my opinion, they should be deported, if not imprisoned.